Hi guys, in this video I'll be showing you how to make a scrolling platformer game on Scratch. So mine's called Red Runner. So this is the thumbnail and we got a start menu with cool animations and the instructions, and we also got a shop so you could choose your player. So we have the Red Runner, a boy, girl, and the Scratch cat, and even Pikachu. So you just need to click on one of these and then it will get automatically selected. So first I'll go with the Red Runner, and you could see a checkpoint. So we have a walking animation, a jumping animation, and even an idle. So we have spikes, and we have this water with cool animation, and we have this nice background. We got clouds, and we got checkpoints. So the star is a checkpoint and we have different levels. So if our player dies, it will go back to the checkpoint. So it has also a cool respawn animation. And another checkpoint, and we are going for winter, and we also have obstacles, and we got crystals as our spikes. And this is the creepy graveyard level. So you win. So we have different characters. So the boy, which has an cool animation. The girl, the Scratch cat, and even Pikachu. So let's get started. So I found this free platformer game asset from buyer.itch.io. So you could find this in the Unity asset store as well. So there are many assets. Yeah, it's also available on Unity asset store. So there are chests, spikes, many. And so this is the 3D one. You could even download the 2D one if you want. And it's free. You just need to click on download now and it will get downloaded. So I got this boy, the girl, and the graveyard and winter platformer set. Game are 2D, so there are some freebies you could use. So I'll post the link to this website on my description. So this is the Red Runner starter project with all of the sprites, costumes and sounds. So I suggest you to use this rather than uploading sprites, because when you upload the sprites, they would be automatically centered. And some costumes of our platformer should not go to center. And if you are using the starter project, you don't need to change any of the positions, you could just use it. And we got a sprite called player with 2 black boxes. So make sure you click on that, and we'll be coding this. And then our player, which is the animated Red Runner, would follow this. So click on player, and when green flag clicked, click on variables and make a variable for checkpoint. For all sprites. And when green flag click, we need to set checkpoint to 0, and then we need to hide. And when green flag clicked, we need to set rotational style to left right, and click on looks, clear graphic effects, and then click on variables and make another variable for player X for all sprites. So set player X to checkpoint, set player X to checkpoint, and duplicate, and we need to set checkpoint and make a new variable called X for all sprites, and we need to set X to 0, and we need to point in direction 90 degrees, set our size to 100, and then we need to show. And we need to go to X 0 and Y 180, and click on variables and make another variable for Y for all sprites. And we need to set Y to 0, and then we need to set Y to 180, and then grab a forever loop and go for looks, and we need to set our ghost effect to 100 because we don't need to show this black box. And now let's code our controls. So if key right arrow pressed, we need to change our X by 0.8, and we need to point in direction 90 degrees, and duplicate this and change this to left arrow, change X by 0.8 and point in direction 90 degrees, and then we need to set X to go for operators and grab a times operator. We need to set X to X times 0.9. And then we need to change player X by X. And now click on if, then grab an if statement, and if touching platforms. So we have a sprite called platform with all the platforms. Then go for motion and we need to change Y by 1 and duplicate this, duplicate, so duplicate, and we have 6, and on the 6th one we need to change Y by -4. And then click on variables and we need to change our player X by X times -2. Then grab another if statement. So if touching platforms and grab a if else statement. And another if else statement. And if our X is lesser than 0, then we need to set X to 5. So remove the if else. So if touching player else, so if X is lesser than 0, then we will set X to 5, else set X to -5. And at the end we need to set a Y to 10. And else we need to set our X to 0. So this is our wall jumping script. And then we need to change our Y by -1 and go for motion and we need to change our Y by Y. And then grab if statement and if touching platforms, and we need to change our Y by Y times -1. And then we need to set our Y to 0. And we need to change our Y by 1. We need to change our Y by -1. And again, if touching platforms, and duplicate, go for sensing and grab if key up arrow pressed. Then we need to set our Y to 12.92. And grab a if statement. So if our Y position is lesser than -179, then we need to go to X0 and Y 180 and grab this repeat until block. So repeat until round So round player X equals checkpoint. We need to change our player X by grab a divide operator and a minus operator. So checkpoint minus player X divide by 7. And then we need to set our player X to checkpoint and point in direction 90 degrees and set size to 100 and grab a show, and we need to set our X and Y variables to 0. And click on motion, and we need to set our Y to 100. So this is our death animation script. So if our player falls down, it will repeat until he goes to the checkpoint with that cool animation. So this is our code of this is our player code. So all the variables are for all sprites. Our wall jumping script, our gravity, and our death animation. So now I'll be showing you how to code the platform. So make sure you click on the platform sprites, and there are 33 costumes with all the levels, and we have just costume with a green rectangle, and we have the normal green level, the autumn level, winter, and the graveyard level, and finally the U1 level. So when green flag clicked, we need to hide this thing, and duplicate, and then we need to switch costume to costume 2, which is this normal green rectangle, and we need to clear graphic effects and repeat 32 next costume. We need to create clone of myself. So why I put repeat 32 here? Because I have 32 levels. So because I will switch to this costume and it will repeat 32 times because I had 33 costumes. So it will create clones of every of these. So if, for example, if you have 11 costumes with this costume, you need to repeat 10. So make sure you enter the number of costumes you have without this costume. And now grab this when I start as a clone block and click on my blocks and make a block, and we need to set X to add an input called X costume costumes, add an input called costumes, and click OK. And when I start as a clone, we need to grab a times operator and place it in the set X2 and duplicate, and we need to minus and click on look and grab this costume number. So it's costume number minus 2 times 480, and we need to set costumes to costume number, and let's define this set X2, and we need to add the show block when I start as a clone, and click on control forever, grab a if else statement, grab a O and grab a greater than, so if player X is greater than, we need to grab a minus operator. So player X is greater than X minus 960, or just duplicate this, and we need to switch these two places. And change this plus to add. So if player X is greater than X minus 960 or X plus 960 is greater than player X, then we need to set our size to 100, switch costume to costume 2, which is the green rectangle costume, and then grab this go to block we need to go to grab a minus, so it's 0 minus, grab a plus, and again a minus, so 0 minus player X plus 0 minus X, and we need to set Y to 0, and we need to switch costume to costume, and then we need to show, else we need to hide. So now I'll be showing you how to code a red runner, the player. So make sure you click on red runner, and we have 21 costumes. So the first one is the idol, and from number 2 to number 19 is the running animation, and 20 and 21 are the jump costumes. So when green flag clicked, we need to point in direction 90 degrees, clear all graphic effects, and we need to set rotational style to left right, and grab a forever. So grab a forever, we need to show, and we need to go to player, and at the top we need to hide. So again grab another when green flag clicked, and forever, grab an if statement. So if key right arrow pressed, we need to point in direction 90 degrees. Grab this next costume and click on my blocks and make a block called change. And make sure you tick run without screen refresh, and grab this change block and place it here, and duplicate the same thing, and if key left arrow pressed, we need to point in direction -90 so it moves, and duplicate this again and remove all of this. We grab a switch costume, we need to switch costume to idle. So if not key any pressed, then we need to switch costume to idle. And if so, we need to delete these two blocks. Our y is greater than 0, then we need to switch costume to jump 1, and duplicate, and if our y position is lesser than 0, switch costume to jump 2. So if 0 is greater than y, then we need to switch costume to jump 2. And now grab this define change block, grab an if statement. So if grab an equals, so if our costume number equals 19, then we need to switch costume to the second costume, and duplicate, and if our costume number equals 21, then we need to switch costume to idle. So what does this code does is, if our costume number equals 19, which is the final costume of our running animation, it will switch costume to second, so it loops. And if our costume number equals 21, then it will switch costume to idle. And now if you test your project, now you can see our platform is scrolling, and our player animation works, and our player code works. We have detection, we have gravity, and we also have wall jumping. And if we fall, then we will respawn to our original position. So now I'll be showing you how to code our BG with that trees, flowers, and all of that. So make sure you click on BG, and we have 33 costumes just like our platform, and we have this rectangle. So when green flag clicked, we need to go to back layer, and we need to hide and switch costume to costume 2, and we need to clear all graphic effects, and we need to repeat 32 because I have 32 costumes. We need next costume and create clone of myself. So it's just like the code we did to our level. And when I start as a clone, click on my blocks and let's make a block called set x2. Add an input called x. Add a label called costumes. Add an input called costumes. Click OK. And we need to set x to grab a times operator and so change this to minus costume number minus 2 times 480, and we need to set costume to costume number, and we need to show. And now let's define this set x to x and costumes. We need to go to our back layer, grab a forever, if else, grab a O, a lesser than block, a minus. So if our x minus 960 is lesser than player x, so duplicate and change this to greater than, and x plus 960 is greater than player x, then we need to set our size to 105. Switch costume to costume 2, and we need to go to x, so grab a minus, duplicate and plus, and again a minus. So it's 0 minus player x plus 0 minus x, and we need to set our y to 0, and we need to switch costumes to costumes, and then we need to show, else we need to hide. And now you can see our background with the trees and everything appear. And if you click on player, if in this death animations, if negative 179 is greater than y position, we need to go to x0 and y 100. It's not 180. So now you will get a smooth death animation. So that's it for part 1. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a like. So if you want to get more updates from this channel, make sure to subscribe and click on the bell icon. And if you find this video useful or interesting, make sure to share it with your friends. So in part 2, I'll be showing you how to add the water, spikes, and the checkpoints. So see you in another awesome Scratch video.